friends. While there is a millions of things I want to tell and talk about, I have to record a short video in order not to bore you. There is a lot of talks about LGBT people on social media, on TV, or on the front pages of newspapers, but none of them are LGBT individuals. And even they don't know what it means. Because if they knew, they wouldn't have done the things that they have did to us. Even the guts of supporting Genesis programs are irrelevant from any field. Someone is talking about us making decisions, but unfortunately they don't give us the opportunity to talk about the situation we live. During the period of LGBT and women's movements, I couldn't take part in the movements or make any statement. While decisions about us were being made by somebody who isn't gay or woman. I'm not proud of what I did. I should have been with my friends who fight for my rights. In conclusion, after a prolonged absence from public eye, right now, to fulfill my promise, I'm recording this video. And so I'm freeing myself and redeeming myself from this regret and silence of my life. Especially in my own country, people are under attack for who they love, how they dress, and ultimately for who they are. In all too many cases, LGBT individuals are harassed in the streets simply because of who they are. This discrimination could be based on our sexual orientation, could be based on how you define yourself, irrespective of your biological sex, how you express your gender through your clothing, hair, or makeup, or sex characteristics. From name-calling and bullying to being denied a job or appropriate health care, the range of irregular treatment faced is extensive and damaging. It can also be life-threatening. But all these threats can be avoided. By saying this, I'm not talking about the education of the people, which requires a long process. Also, I'm sure each of us is conscious enough to condemn these behaviors, but I expect the state to resist, at least. Because we aren't in a position that we can care about people's attitude towards LGBT individuals, our priority is being fulfilled of the legal requirements we deserve. I know we can't change the minds of all people, but if the government stands with us against violence with the law, I really won't feel alone anymore. If there is a law, you can protect us, because only then will people know that they cannot act according to their own ideas when they are about to act. The law is the law. That's simple. There is no doubt there are stereotypes that need unpacking. Everyone knows that homophobia is a fundamental ingredient of masculinity, since homosexuality is wrongly associated with femininity. Feminizing and anti-gay comments are the primary mechanism for enforcing the boundaries of masculinity. I mean, if a guy steps over so slightly outside of gender norms, his peers will bring him back into line by calling his heterosexuality into question, which challenge with his gender, but homophobia is not that simple. is not simply about femininity. One of the most common answers people give to the question of why you don't like gays or homosexual is that they have feminine behaviors that don't fit the masculine stereotype of a man. In a nutshell, you shouldn't mistake what you hate for what you want to hate. According to them, I mean homophobics, a person comes out of masculinity stereotype of a man. He produces insults to the male race. That's why they see a feminine man living in the world as an insult to them. Given that, are they really bothered by feminine men or by feminine ones? We should question this. I mean femininity, which is identified with women. I think it is a problem for them. The problem isn't being a feminine man, maybe. It is the being womanish boy, which is, according to them, inferior to being manly. You may question this instinctively. Why are LGBT rights is that important? Because everyone should be able to feel proud of who they are, who they love. We all have the right to express ourselves freely, and bringing an end to homophobia will save lives, because everyone has the right to live safely. No matter what religion you believe or which cleric says what. We are free as long as we don't forget that all religions, teachings, and beliefs are basically based on love and introduced on to make our lives well. Now I want to talk about LGBT culture. But of course it's called subculture, like any culture that belongs to minorities. Let's define it. Subcultures are not the results of the wishes of individuals, of course, not. If a group with common values cannot find a place for themselves in the general culture of the society, and if there is an opposition to their inclusion, the formation of a subculture is inevitable. There is a common belief that LGBT individuals have a different culture. Yes, it's kind of true, but not all individuals have to be included in this subculture, or they don't have to restrict themselves under this culture or give up their own values and cultures. That's why we are colorful people. For this reason, the way to unify all subcultures in one, we have to make room for a more inclusive and selfless culture, rather than marginalizing people just because of your own beliefs. Because your own beliefs can never be someone else's fault, or they can't be held responsible for not living according to your belief. Belief is yours alone. That's too. It's the most asked question to me too. And I really want to express this profoundly. It's not my sexual orientation that make me who I am. Of course, I will fight for my rights, but it's not my whole life. I'm really much more than just being gay, and besides, I have many features that make me who I am and make me different from others, not just this. There is a commonly believed misinformation that being LGBT individual is a disease. Of course, it can change according to your defining what disease is, but according to World Health Organization, a disease is what affect people adversely. It must be a disorder of function in a human body. So it's not a disease according to the defining rules. And this stigmatization and discrimination of gay people may lead to mental health problems, but homosexuality in itself is not a disease, as I said before. That is a scientific consensus and endorsed by the World Health Organization. You can believe it, and I believe it too. So that it is not homosexuality, but homophobia is a disease that should be treated instantly, and which kills humanity at the same time. Everyone who uses social media develops a social media personality that is wanted to be had, which is far from reality. These personalities need to be different in order to exist in media, and unfortunately people may not be sensitive enough to think about how they will affect other people who called gay when creating gay stereotypes. But of course it's not their fault. They do what is expected of them. What you need to know is that when you watch a feminine man, you cannot be sure that he is a gay. Because what determines you to be a gay person requires falling in love with someone at the same sex. But love is intangible and unobservable. Also, if you often come across people you don't like on social media, it's an indication that you are not that different from those people, because if you didn't have something in common with them, you wouldn't have come across with them that much. So don't blame them because of your own suppressed personality. And for you guys who is religious people, I want to share with you a verse that I quoted from the Bible about judging others. It's not homosexuality in itself, but you comment in that way. I've read this from a paper because, of course, I cannot recollect all of the verses. Okay. Why do you look at the speck of sawdust in your brother's eye and pay no attention to the plank in your own eye? And finally, I have a question to ask. Why are you still silent towards violation?
Russian police detained as many as 30 gay rights activists.
Benzeri organizasyon son yıllarda aynı yerde büyük bir güvenlik sorunu.
Russia passed a law banning the spread of so-called gay propaganda.
It's not fair to continue to lose valuable lives because of prejudice and lack of education. What I want to tell you, who feels lost, is that a community with open arms is waiting for all of us. Hopefully. See you in other videos. Don't forget to follow and subscribe. Bye bye. You gave me the letter. I guess it was July. You said we'll be better, but I don't know why. I should be so lonely when I close my eyes. pretend you're mine. Onursuz olmasın aşk.